Most people think that influence comes from charisma, loud confidence, or having a big title. It doesn't. The people who move rooms are the ones who don't need permission to speak, and they still get listened to. They're not louder, they're clearer. Watch someone like Hormozi or Iman when they speak. It's not hype, it's control. They talk like people who know the room will adjust to them. Today, I'll show you exactly how to influence anyone, even if you don't have any authority yet, using 5 psychological switches that every effective leader in the online world uses, whether they realize it or not. And just to let you know, I've spent time with Alex and Iman in person, and they both use these psychological triggers, not only online, but also when they're speaking to people on a one-on-one basis. Most reps and future leaders over-explain thinking detail equals intelligence. But the longer your sentence, the faster your influence disappears. I once had a rep who can talk for Britain. He knew his stuff, but zero influence. I was a sales manager at the time, did some coaching, and 2 calls later, even one of the prospects said, finally, someone who speaks like they know what's going on. Because the clearer you are, the more simple words you use, the shorter sentences you have, the easier it is to explain. Even I would have the habit of over-explaining. If you go back to some of my older YouTube videos from a few years ago, you'll see how I'm just over-explaining every point. And I would think that I'm educating them. If I'm explaining something over and over with detail, but it's actually fluff. People want to know the point, they want to understand it, they want to know the story behind it and move on to the next thing. They don't want you to just regurgitate stuff over and over again and go around in circles. Deliver the value the same way as someone makes content is how you also want to talk on sales calls, because the shorter you can explain something, the simpler you can make it sound, the more likely someone is to buy, because it's no longer complex. If you talk a lot, they now need to understand a lot of things, which means they need to take time to understand it, which may mean, hey, I can't decide right now, give me some time. Clear beats clever every time. Speak like someone who values time, yours and theirs. Short sentences, not disclaimers. Get to the point like you're cutting signal through static. And once your words get through, the next step is to control how they land. Most people rush their words because they're scared that the other person will disconnect. Ironically, that's exactly what's going to make people stop listening to you. I was once asked on a call, why should we even work with you? As soon as they asked, why should I work with you? I just paused and I slowed down. And you can see when I slowed down in this instance, the prospect was now hanging on my every word, which means that the words that I was going to say were going to be more important because they're waiting on me to speak. Like when I've spoken on stages in the past, I'll go onto the stage and what I used to do was think, I need to show everyone how smart I am, I need to blurt out all the words and talk really fast. But then over time, I learned I need to just go onto the stage, I need to take a breather, and I need to just be silent. And what I do now is a practice of walking onto the stage and other people are talking, and if people are talking, I just don't stop. And if I'm silent, eventually people will look to the front and think, oh shit, I need to be quiet. Because there's been times where I've had to wait 20, 30 seconds for the room to stop talking about things because they were distracted, they were on their phone, someone's introduced me, they were just coming back after a break, and they're not fully focused and dialed in. But if you're just silent and you just look at the person who's talking, you'll find that people move their focus to you. And it's always been the case. And it's the same on sales calls, same in events, same when you're speaking to someone in person. When someone's speaking to you in person, you can just slow down. Leaders don't fill silence, they use it. You've got attention, now you need rhythm, because rhythm makes people follow without resistance. Rhythm signals control, and most people talk in one flat tone like they're reading off a script and not leading a conversation. Notice how guys like Hormozi or even someone like Iman speak. They don't rant, they drop lines, they pace. You can feel when a sentence is supposed to land because they leave space for the impact. Influence sounds like someone who isn't in a hurry. Use rhythm to signal control. Quick on facts, slow on belief, land truth. Then stop talking, let them come to you. But rhythm alone doesn't make people move. To influence deeply, you need to offer identity, not just ideas. Because identity outweighs logic. Most people try to influence through logic. Features, benefits, numbers. Logic might convince someone, but identity makes them commit. My journey started in my early 20s when I was just a new closer. And by the end of being a sales rep of 5-10 years, I realized it was the identity shift people had. Anytime someone didn't buy, they would almost have this identity shift. I remember one sales call with someone and they had to implement all of these sales tactics into their business. And I was like, these are all the things you need to do. And he said to me, it's hard for me to do that because I'm not the type of person who's quite analytical. And I said to him, well, you have to be able to track and implement all these strategies. And we were going to implement a new tracking system into this business. He knew he needed it, but he had created this identity that he's not good with numbers and he can't look at numbers. And I had to say to him, what is stopping you? And he said, I'm just not someone who's good at numbers. And I said to him, what's your goal? And he said, I want to make 10 million a year. I said, is the idea of you making 10 million a year, that person, is it the same person you are now? He said, no, someone different. I said, is that person good at numbers? He said, yes. And I went, are you willing to go through the initial embarrassment to think you're not good at numbers to eventually get good at it? He went, yes. And I said, okay, so you have to be able to learn it. And then I reaffirmed him. So then I pushed him even further into the idea. I said, yes, you know that you have to learn it. What's been stopping you from learning it? And he said, I've always just been bad at maths. And I then related to him. I said, I used to be the same. I used to always be someone who was not good at maths. So I used to tell everyone, it's not for me. I have to get some help for this. I'm not good at it. And I have to use like a spreadsheet or an AI tool for everything. But when I really think about it, if you're not good at numbers, you can't run a business. So you have to get good at numbers. You have to change your belief. Everything that I did early in my teens, I had really poor belief. I actually never took my PE kit to school for 5 years. In secondary school, I never took it. I was always that kid because when I took it on the first day in like year 7, on like the first 1 or 2 weeks, I was just really bad at football. I was just not good. And I remember feeling really embarrassed at football. And then what I did my entire high school, I just never took my PE kit again. So I became this skinny, weak kid who was just not confident because the identity that I created for myself was I'm just not good at sport. And now the transition in my 30s is I can do anything. And it's the belief that will carry you. People rise faster when you give them a role to grow into. When influencing teams or clients, position the next step as the new identity, not just a transaction. Make them feel like they're crossing a threshold, not just buying or agreeing. Now, once your identity is planted, there's one final lever that makes your influence stick long term. Repetition makes you undeniable. Most people say something once and they move on. Then they wonder why no one remembered. Gary Vee built his entire empire on repeating the same clear message. Attention is the game. Love him or hate him, he just repeats things all the time. I even met him. When I met this guy, I saw him in person and I just knew he's going to ask me, are you posting on TikTok? Are you posting on LinkedIn? And I met him and I said, hey Gary, I'm just trying to get my business to 10 million. What do you think I should be doing here? And he went to me, are you posting on LinkedIn? And I knew he's going to ask me this even before I said it. But he said the same thing. And do you know what? Once he said it, I turned around and thought, you know what? I should be posting on LinkedIn. Even though I knew he's going to say it. But once he had said it to me, it was like a revelation. Oh shit, I should be posting on LinkedIn. And he said the same repetitive message that I've watched him say online for years. In my business with our internal teams, I repeat the same mantra until it becomes our culture. You don't rise when you close more, you rise when people start listening to when you speak. Repetition isn't boring when it builds identity, it builds momentum. Choose one core belief that you stand on. Repeat it in calls, in meetings, in content, in how you carry yourself. Every repetition creates this gravitational pull. Eventually, people don't just hear you, they align with you. Influence isn't about being louder, more charismatic, or having a title. It's about mastering how your words land and who they turn people into. Speak simply, use silence, control rhythm, shape identity, repeat until your voice becomes a standard. Do that and you won't have to just chase influence. People will start adjusting to you.